Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about navigation. Most boats have some type of chart in them. A chart is something that is in your graph. Like I have a Humminbird Helix 10 on my dash, and it's got two little compartments here for SD cards. And in here I have a mapping chip. Your choices are a Navionics chip or a LakeMaster chip. And there's pros and cons to both. I have both just because you can have more options with the LakeMaster chip with the Humminbird. And right now I was hoping to be able to show you some stuff in Green Bay, but since the boat is in my garage, it's not really loading properly. So I'm going to show you on my phone. So if you do not have a map on your boat, you will be using your phone for navigation. So make sure that you have you need some type of mapping if you're taking your boat out, period. I mean, it's not an option. You cannot go out there blind and just drive around all willy-nilly. I mean, it's just, you can't do it. So right now on this here, this is the Metro boat launch. And, you know, my map may look differently than yours because you can customize these to look like you want them to, with highlighting different depths and such. But these are the ramps, hopefully, that we're going to be using. It just depends on the wind and some other factors. But this is Green Bay Metro boat launch.
I have to get right in your face.
Okay. So when we leave here, I'm just going to back way out. Back way out. We will probably be fishing up here. You know, and if I want to see how far that is from the launch, I can just see right here. And that's about, well, I don't know. You know, it can be like 10 miles. 10 miles, say. So that's a little bit of a hike. You want to make sure you get there with your tank full of gas, your batteries fully charged, period. And make sure you bring an extension cord so after the first day you can charge the batteries before we go out the second day. So when we're leaving here at Metro Launch, we're going to be going out and we're going to be following a channel. And you can see here on the map that these are channel markers. That's a green, if you hover over it, it tells you what it is. It's the Green Bay Harbor entrance. There's a red can and there's a green can. Now, this is marking a channel, which is like a road. It's a navigational thoroughfare. And as you're going out, the green should be on your right. And how you remember this is when you're coming back, the red should be on your right. So it's red, right, return. So remember, red, right, return. So when you're going out, you're going to be following this channel in between the channel markers. And these channel markers are here for a reason. Because if you go off, off somewhere else, you may run into something. It's not, the channel's deep. It's a safe navigational pathway. So you're going to follow these out, and I'm going to be leading the way. We're all you're going to know ahead of time where you're going. This is actually a navigational line and a recommended track, and that is going to be on your graph in your boat too. So as we get out here, then all of a sudden it's not as hazardous and you're there for the open waterway. Those channel markers will end when the channel no longer is there, because it's just the open lake. Now, it doesn't mean that there's not any hazards or anything. Like this is a buoy here, and this is a research buoy. University of Wisconsin, somewhere, research buoy. It tells you what that is. So you may see that. That's a good landmark. you know. So as you zoom in farther, you're going to get depths and contours in different structures. So this one is a prior waypoint that I had on there right here. This is well, I can't really go, but these are marks that I put in here that mean I use that to mark something. And so this is Sugar Creek County Park. This is another ramp. See what the ramps look like? So in case there's all of a sudden a lightning storm comes up, you want to just kind of be mindful where the closest launch is to you, because you might have to seek refuge. This is Dykesville. This is Bayshore. We're going to be way down here. This is Vincent Reef, and you know, we're probably going to be down here in the Frying Pan Shoal off of Point Sable. You know, I'm not for sure yet. I'll have to still figure that out. You know, here's where we caught a bunch of fish last year. We're going to navigate through this channel and see all these spots here. We're not going to cut across to our fishing spot. We're going to go through the channel and follow that channel to get out. Now this map on here is going to look relatively the same as this. So right here, these are some guidelines. So these are the channel marker buoys, green and red. Red is on your right when you're returning to the harbor. Now this is a buoy that indicates do not pass between the buoy and shore. There's a hazard there. Mid-channel pass, close on either side. This is a diver. This is a mooring buoy. Sometimes people like moor their sailboats out on one of those mooring buoys. This is a milfoil. A lot of times they have weevils out that they're killing, or chemicals out that they're and they don't want the boats going through there. So these are, you have to kind of take a look at these and see, like a diamond is always danger. Sometimes it's a no wake buoy. You know, it'll say no wake, so you have to not be on wake during that first part. So maybe when you're first leaving the marina, maybe it's no wake, and then as you get out further, you're still in the channel, but the no wake no longer applies. So this is the stuff that you have to know. I'll get a handout for everyone to put in their goodie bag.
So someone just asked if you can post that. It is posted. If they go to guides, they probably can't hear me because you're mic'd.
Okay.
So on the members page where events are, there's one called guides.
Yeah.
And there's one called Green Bay Walleye Fishing.
Okay. So, you know, we have so much of this information at your fingertips on the members only page, and that's really a benefit of membership. We're not doing this class on the public page. We have so much information in our members page. So if you go to guides, where can they find the guides?
They're on the members page, like kind of wherever they find events. I think it's different.
So the little side tab, you know, you click on that, it says guides, events, different drop-down menus that come. When you find that guides, click on that. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. You know,
it's like categorized learning. There's shore fishing,
yeah,
walleye fishing, navionics, seminars.
Yeah, there's just so much information in there. Any other questions? So one more thing about these hummingbirds. So what I do, if you have a hummingbird graph, a helix that's bigger than an 8-inch, right here, this is a helix 10, you have 3 different buttons right here, and these are called smart keys. So for me, I always have this first one, full map. So when this is loading, when it's not in my garage, it's a full map. That's what I want on this one. And this is what I'm going to be navigating on. I want the full map. I'm going to be looking ahead. I'm going to be looking at my map. I'm going to be looking at all my surroundings. I'm going to be making sure you guys are behind me. I'm going to, you know, I want this map full screen. Now this next one, I have half map and half sonar. So maybe I'm getting to the fishing spot. I still want to be able to navigate to where I want to go, the waypoints I have picked out to fish for the day or whatever, but I want to kind of start taking a look at the sonar. Is there any fish around? If there are fish around, how deep are they? You know, once I get to the area and I want to search a little more in depth, then my smart key on the bottom is side imaging. You know, this is, there are so many resources on YouTube and all over the place about running your hummingbird. I can't teach you everything before this class. You know, some of this stuff is, you know, you need to educate yourself on many of these topics that we're referring to. I'll let you know how I do it, but I can't go into every setting about everything. We'd be here for a month. You know, the biggest advice that I can tell you is get your boat out on the water before this event, at least a couple times. Throw a cushion overboard and go try to pick it up without running it over. When you're approaching someone in the water, you have best visibility if you do it from the starboard side, because you can see. If there's something in the water over there and I'm trying to drive up to it, I can't see it. You know, practice that. Practice getting up on a plane quickly. You know, practice. It's all of a sudden you got a really windy day. It's super windy out. You know, grab your partner or your friend or your husband or whoever and say, hey, it's super windy. Let's take the boat out. I want to practice in the wind. Just go for a ride. If you do those things and don't even fish when you go out there, ride your boat when it's wavy. Practice going up on plane. See where the boat rides in those sides the best. Sometimes you're going slow and you're taking on a bunch of water over the bow of the boat. Sometimes you go a little bit faster and you're riding on top of them. I can't tell you how to do that with your boat. The only way that you're going to be able to figure that out is time on the water with your boat in those conditions. I know my boat like the back of my hand because I spend so much time in it. When I'm driving, my hand automatically is adjusting for the, it's constantly moving. I can't even tell you what I'm doing. It's just that I am one with my boat and I know how it works in the waves. It's like telling someone how to drive a car. If you've never driven a car before on snow and ice, I can sit here and tell you how to do it till I'm blue in the face. But the bottom line is you're not going to know until you go out and drive the car in snow and ice. That's how you're going to learn to drive the car on snow and ice. Same thing with the boat with waves. You just have to suck it up on a windy day and go practice. Any questions about navigation? I have one more thing. So now we've navigated there. We're out on the fishing grounds and we're trolling, we're getting our lines out. We'll get to that part. But all of a sudden, one of the boards goes way back. You got a big fish on. The captain should immediately hit mark. That puts a waypoint right here, mark. That puts a waypoint exactly when that first bite happened. Don't wait to get the fish in the boat. What's going to happen is all of a sudden, we get a pass and you get a bite, and you end up getting 3 or 4 bites in the same cluster area. Now there's a big cluster of fish there. Hey, let's put up these trolling rods and go over there and try to jig for them. Because there's a cluster of fish there because you can see it right on the map. I would show you on my map, but it's not loading. So, and that's what we're going to be doing this weekend. If we find a cluster of fish, we'd like to stop and jig for them. So 13 boats can't jig the same little cluster of fish. So we're going to be spreading out a little bit. And, so you need to mark and figure out where little clusters are. You may have a great cluster of fish that you stumbled upon. That's your little cluster of fish. So make sure you know exactly where it is. Any questions?
Did you mention what about driving the boat when you get a bite on a planer board or when a planer board goes back? Some people just might not know. Keep driving.
Yes, we'll get into that. I mean, the number one rule of trolling is keep the boat moving. The driver, you can't get sucked into the action. because, you know, the boat's going to not go where you think it's going to go. You have to stay at the helm. That's why you take turns. Okay, now, you know, this person got a fish, and now this person got a fish. Now it's the captain's turn. Well, one of those people has to come to the helm and drive a little bit. And it's best to have that little bit of practice and a little bit of reps before the fish hits. So if you're a captain, get everyone familiar with how your throttle works. Go from a neutral position to a forward position. Every throttle mechanism is different. If you, here's an example. I was at the back of my boat here, reeling in a big fish. I had a guy with me, a good guy, very experienced angler. We had to speed up a little bit for some reason because the wind was blowing us, whatever, we were going to mess up. He hit the throttle. He wasn't used to my throttle. In his throttle, you have to give a lot of gas to engage. Mine, you just need a little. He gave it a lot, and I went flying to the back of the boat and ended up grabbing onto the motor to keep from going in, and I lost the rod, the reel, and the fish. So everyone in your boat should just have an idea how your boat works. So that's the end of this chapter. We'll be back for another.